Hailing from the Jersey Shore and raised as athletes, the Airey Bros have always shared a passion for physical culture, athletic performance, and human optimization, always striving to be the strongest versions of themselves, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Along the way, they've met some pretty amazing humans and have had some pretty epic adventures. The intention of Airey Bros Radio is to showcase these amazing people and the impact that they've had on them, and to share tips, tricks, and hacks so that you can win each day, every day.
What up, y'all? It's your boy, Rich Airey. This is Airey Bros Radio. As always, my dance partner, the Prince of 1512. What up, dog?
You. What up, Richie Rich? How you living today?
Living large, living in charge. It was all a dream. I used to read Runner's World magazine.
Yo, I like what you did there, kid.
You like that shit?
Yeah, I used to read Wrestling USA magazine.
That's what I was going to say. I should have said I used to read USA Wrestling magazine because we got some wrestlers, some coaches coming up in, is it in honor of the UWW World Championships?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we probably would have had them on without the World Championships. We're going to have a special week of World Championship podcast.
Yeah, special week of wrestling podcast, so buckle up. We've got Reece, highlight, Humphrey, head coach of the NJRTC, the New Jersey Regional Training Center, based out of Rutgers, New Jersey, Rutgers University, and Princeton University.
Yeah, it was a good episode. It was an epic conversation we got to have with Reece, real down-to-earth, humble guy, and was pretty open about what they got going on at the NJRTC. And it was good getting to sit down with a three-time world team member. You know, definitely a humble experience.
Three-time world team member and now head coach, as I mentioned, of the NJRTC, which has two world team members that are going to Kazakhstan, right? Not Kazakhstan, Kazakhstan. And we'll be competing and hoping, and not hoping, but have prepared themselves to take a swing at a gold medal at the World Championships.
Yeah, it was really good getting to have Reece on to talk about Tyler Graff.
It's Graff.
Tyler Graff.
There's no T. Tyler Graff, PD3, Paul Downey.
Yeah.
Two beasts.
Yeah, I mean, you know, coming from a wrestling background and having the ability to have a coach of two world team members on to kind of preview the world championships is amazing, right? That's what we want to be doing, is putting people over like that. So to get to have Reece come on the show 2 weeks prior and we can put it out the week of, to me that's a special thing, and I hope everyone really enjoys this, especially all you wrestling fans out there.
Yeah, this was a great episode. Reece is a great guy, super athletic, both on the NCAA level and on the world level of freestyle. They don't call him Highlight Humphrey for nothing. He comes from a wrestling family. His dad was a world silver medalist. He was also an Olympic team coach, both for Team USA and for Team Canada, I think he mentions. And, yeah, for all those Airey Bros fans back home in New Jersey, pay attention to what's going on in New Jersey when it comes to wrestling. All right, you got Rutgers University and Princeton University are both on the rise at the NCAA level, and then just the support that they're putting into the Olympic level and what those guys got going down there, some of the new guys that they just brought in. And, yeah, great episode, great guest, and hope you all enjoy it as much as Jimmy and I did with the conversation with Reece. Reece, Highlight, Humphrey, welcome to Airey Bros Radio. Pleasure to have you on. Hope you're having a great day back in New Jersey. And while we got you here, why don't you just give us a little bit about background about who you are, where you're from, and where you're at right now.
All right, well, thanks for having me on, guys. I am a three-time U.S. Open champion, three-time world team member, for Team USA, and I'm currently the head coach of the NJRTC, which is a combined effort between Princeton and Rutgers universities, trying to get senior athletes on the world and Olympic teams and hopefully winning the title coming up in a couple weeks.
And you've got a couple guys representing USA, right?
Yeah, we have Tyler Graff at 61 kilos. He's the number one guy in the United States, so he's on the world team. On his first world team, looking to bring back some hardware once we go to Kazakhstan. And we also have the representative at 86 kilos and Pat Downey. It's his first world team as well. And we only started this thing, the NJRTC, about, I'm going to say 17 months ago. And to have two guys on the world team, this thing is growing very fast, and we're having a lot of success. And we're excited to challenge ourselves at the World Championships.
Right on. Will you be going to Kazakhstan?
Yep. So we leave on September 6th to go to Germany for acclimation camp, and we'll spend about 7 or 8 days there and then head over to Kazakhstan to acclimate to that time and to find out what the venue's like and get everything in place to be perfect peak performance at the World Championships. And then the Worlds would be like 3 or 4 days, depending on when they compete. They'll have just a 2-day tournament, but different guys, different weight classes, or different days. So we got to get over there early enough to acclimate to that and to get used to those venues and practice it and make it as easy as possible on the athletes. So that's kind of our next 17 days will be overseas.
And are all the guys back in New Jersey? I know you guys were out here in the Springs for a minute. Is everyone back home in NJ, or what's going on there?
Yeah, so Bryce Meredith went out to be Tyler Graff's training partner, and Nate Jackson's going to be Downey's training partner when we head out to Germany and Kazakhstan for the Worlds. But they just got back on Saturday, so we have about a week here, and then we'll take back off. And these guys have had a really busy summer with training camps and competitions, all in preparation for the Worlds coming up real soon. So we're very excited.
And with that busy summer, were you able to make it down to the Jersey Shore at all? Where are you at right now? Where in New Jersey are you living?
Yep, I'm in South Brunswick, which is 15 minutes to both Princeton and Rutgers, so it's kind of central for what I do. It's kind of perfect. But yes, I'm out at the shore as often as possible, taking my kids out there. Anthony Ashnault is on our squad now, and he's got a place right on the beach, so we find that as our home base a little bit. And it's awesome down there. I'm trying to get down there as much as possible. And also we head into New York City, which is about an hour away as well. So it's a lot of things to do out on the East Coast, and we have a lot of good wrestling right by us too.
And before the NJRTC, had you been to New Jersey at all?
I've been to the city a bunch in New York, but I don't think I was really in Jersey very much, if ever, before I came out. And then Joe Dubuque gave me a call when I was out in California coaching for Titan Mercury, and he said some pretty promising things. And then once I took the visit, once I saw the atmosphere and the exponential growth of both programs, it was a done deal for me. Once I came and visited and saw it in person, it was a pretty easy choice for me to make the move.
And you guys have a pretty unique setup with the NJRTC, where a lot of the RTCs are in one particular location. New Jersey has, you guys split time between Rutgers and Princeton. Who was behind all that? How did the NJRTC come about? And I know there's right now there's some things going on with some of the NCAA coaches giving a little pushback about the involvement in the RTCs and at the colleges and stuff like that. So, I mean, how did all this come about? And
yeah, so it was, like I said, we're pretty new. We're less than a year and a half old, but it was Dubuque and Ayers and Coach Goodale and Donnie Pritzloff were the head of trying to make this thing happen, and they just decided that they needed a head coach before they wanted to grow this thing, and so they called me up, and once I got here, it was just really Nate Jackson and I. We were the two guys in this RTC for maybe the first 4 or 5 months, just us. And then we started to grow a little bit. We got Pat Downey, and then lately we got Bryce Meredith and Anthony Ashnault and Tyler Graff, and we had CJ Brucki along the way. So we've had we've grown pretty fast, but I would say Ayers and Dubuque were the driving forces that really made the calls to me and made it start. But we're funded very heavily through two Princeton donors, and Mike Novogratz and Rich Tavoso, and then we also have a lot of help from the Rutgers side with Joe Agresti, and they have a huge support system throughout their board and on both sides. So it's really awesome to split it between both Princeton and Rutgers, and it really lets us be able to double in size. See, Princeton funds 3 of our athletes, and Rutgers funds the other 3. So if it was just one location, we'd be half the size and probably half as successful, or less. So working together has been a huge benefit for both programs and the NJRTC.
Now, Reece, you had stated that the colleges split the amount of funding to the athletes. How do you guys go about getting athletes? Is there an active recruiting process of getting guys coming out of college, or you guys just have an open door policy? You let guys come and try it out, and how they fit is how it goes from there?
Yep, anybody can come in at any time. It's open door, but like I said, we were just Nate and I in the beginning for a while, so it was kind of my focus. Like every tournament, I was asking everybody if they were happy and what they wanted to do with their career, and then senior level guys who were kind of solidified in where they were, it was like almost impossible to get them to train or to get them to switch training locations without paying them a crazy amount of money. And we didn't have that many guys, so it was kind of hard to get people to buy into a vision, you know. And so now that we have some guys who are doing well, I'm getting a lot more calls and a lot more people knocking on our door and trying to get in our practice now. But in the beginning, it was very, very difficult to get guys to transfer or move, because we're not paying these guys a crazy amount. I know people think that Princeton might have a ton of money, but that's not the case. They fundraise for every cent that they have, and same thing with Rutgers. Being a Big Ten school, it's not so easy. I mean, being a Big Ten is an advantage, but it's not as easy as people might think it is. These guys work very, very hard to make this program successful, and so there's been a lot of hard work behind it on the recruiting side and the fundraising side, and we're going to keep that thing rolling, and hopefully we can blow this thing up to where the fundraising kind of works for itself and makes it a lot easier. We keep having success. Hopefully that'll keep bringing the dollars in, and we can keep building the budget and growing the budget and keep getting more athletes, and hopefully have a full team so we can start these RTC duels.
Is that the end game, to have a full team? So that are all the RTCs looking to do that, so you can have duels and stuff to kind of promote the sport and bring the fans in for it?
I would love to have that. My goal is to get the athlete paid. Being a wrestler and growing up in the wrestling lifestyle, it's like you got to fight for every penny, and these guys are hungry and they're trying to make ends meet all the time, and it's just getting better and better for the athlete. But if we compare it to any other sport, we're getting paid nothing still. I think it's just way better for the athlete now, and you can see how every superstar college athlete is coming out, and their college or university wants to keep them, so they're finding funding for that. They're understanding the importance of keeping these guys around and keeping them training alongside the college guys. But it can always be better, and if this is the next avenue, these RTC duels, if that's the next avenue to get these guys paid more and get them more limelight or more spotlight on them to help grow their brand, I'm all about it.
Now, you had mentioned the ROTC duels, to have RTC duels to raise money. What are some of the other ideas you guys have been coming up with or brainstorming on how to get these athletes paid?
So my big thing is to grow the athlete's brand. That's just a free thing that anybody can do that pays dividends exponentially as you start to grow it. And we have guys like Anthony Ashnault and Bryce Meredith who have these huge brands already. And I think you'll notice with our NJRTC Instagram page and Twitter that we spend a lot of time trying to show how much fun we're having and how hard we're working, and shine some light on the positives that wrestling brings. And in turn, we get sponsors out of this. We get more camps and more private lessons for the guys, and so it just makes their life a little bit easier, because we are not we give them as much as we can, but it's not as much as I think they deserve. These guys are professional athletes, and it's